Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something huge, the leap voice AI is taking. I mean, from totally clunky and robotic to, well, something that feels fast, expressive, and actually conversational. Let's get right into it.
So let's start with a feeling I bet you know all too well. That, frustration, right? When you're talking to a voice assistant and it just doesn't get it. It's slow, it gets you wrong, and the whole thing is just, honestly, painful.
To really get a handle on how far we've come, we've got to look back. I'm not talking years ago. I'm talking just a few months ago. It was a completely different world. Yeah, as the team at OpenAI puts it, the experience wasn't just a little wonky. It was fundamentally broken. I mean, the models were slow, they sounded like something out of a 90s sci-fi movie, and they were so brittle. If you went even a little bit off script, poof, the whole thing would just fall apart. Okay, so let's look at a perfect and kind of painful example of how this used to work, or, didn't work. Imagine this. A user asks an older voice agent for something simple and creative. Seems easy enough, right? What could go wrong? But then you do a totally normal human thing. You change your mind mid-sentence. You try to interrupt it, you try to steer the conversation somewhere else. For another person, no big deal. But for the old AI, oh man, that was a total system breaker. A huge challenge. And this is where it all goes off the rails. The model just gets lost completely. It doesn't remember the first request, it totally misses the new one, and then it just makes something up about a completely random topic. That is what people mean when they say these systems were brittle. The whole conversation just shatters into a million pieces. But okay, that was then, and this is now. Because we have absolutely crossed a tipping point. We are leaving those frustrating, clunky bots behind and walking straight into a new era. An era of agents that feel genuinely interactive, that can actually keep up with how we really talk. And look, this isn't just a small step up. It's a total game changer, a fundamental shift. We're talking models that are way faster, that can actually sound expressive, that have some personality. And maybe most importantly, they're accurate. They can actually follow the thread of a conversation. So why was the old ways so bad? Well, it was this thing called the chained approach. Think of it like a really inefficient factory assembly line. You've got 3 separate steps. Step 1, a model turns your audio into text. Step 2, a totally different model, a large language model, thinks about that text. Step 3, a third model turns that text response back into audio. Every single one of those handoffs added lag. And worse, it stripped out all the emotion, all the nuance from your voice. But the breakthrough? It's a whole new way of doing things, a single end-to-end model. It's speech to speech. That means your voice goes in and a voice comes right back out. No more clunky 3-step chain. It's just one unified, elegant process. And that's what makes it so much faster. And it's why I can actually hang on to all that human nuance. So let's go back to our haiku example. With this new kind of model, the whole interaction is just seamless. The user interrupts, says, hey, actually, can you make it about stars? And boom, the AI just pivots instantly. It delivers an expressive haiku about stars. It understands, it adapts, and it sounds totally natural while it's doing it. It's a night and day difference. All right, so the tech is finally here. That's awesome. But how do you actually build something great with it? Because it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It really all starts with getting your head around the key trade-offs you're going to have to make. When you're in the trenches building one of these things, you're basically a juggler. You're trying to balance all these different factors, things like speed, cost, and how smart it is. And you have to ask yourself, what matters most? Do I need a lightning-fast response? Or is it more important that it's 100% accurate? The right answer? Well, it completely depends on your specific use case.
And this is a great way to see how those priorities can shift. Let's say you're building a fun little consumer app. What matters? User experience and speed. It has to feel fast. It has to be engaging. Accuracy? Maybe not the biggest deal. But now, think about a customer service bot that's handling people's orders. Suddenly, accuracy is everything. You absolutely cannot have it accidentally cancel an order when someone asks to update it. The stakes are just different. This opens up a whole new world for something we call prompting. It's not just about telling the AI what to say anymore. Now it's about how it says it. You can literally direct its personality. You can prompt it to have an enthusiastic tone, or a really calm and reassuring demeanor, or a super professional voice. You can dial it in to perfectly match your brand.
And what we're seeing is that the best way to build these isn't to create one giant, all-powerful super agent that tries to do everything. No, the smarter way is to build a system of agents. You have a fast, cheap, frontline agent that handles all the simple, quick questions. But the second a really complex question comes in, it knows to delegate that job to a bigger, smarter, more powerful model in the background. It's a much more efficient and scalable way to design these things. Okay, so going from a cool demo that you built on your laptop to a real-world app that thousands, maybe millions of people are going to rely on, that's a huge leap. And it means you have to get really serious about two things: evaluation and safety. Anoop Kotha from OpenAI actually lays out a really clear 4-step playbook for this. And it starts surprisingly simple. Just look at your data. See what's actually going on in the conversations. From there, you bring in humans to label that data and help you iterate. Once things are feeling pretty solid, you can start to automate your testing for functionality. And then, the final step, you can even start analyzing the audio itself. Is the tone right? Is the pacing good? It's a full stack approach. So you might be wondering, what's with this number 100? Well, it's actually the key to how you can add safety guardrails without slowing the whole experience down. Here's the trick. The AI generates the text way, way faster than it can actually speak it out loud. This gives you a tiny buffer, a little window of time, say after every 100 characters are generated, where you can run a safety check in the background, totally separate from the audio stream. The result? You get safety and speed. You don't have to choose. So the message from the experts, the people actually building this stuff, is crystal clear. The tech has hit that good enough point. It's ready for prime time. And what that means is that right now, there's this first mover advantage. There's a real window of opportunity for developers and for companies to get in there and build the next generation of amazing, scalable voice apps. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty mind-bending question to chew on. You know, for decades, how we talk to computers has been through keyboards and mice and screens. But now that they can actually listen, now that they can understand the nuance in our voices, how is that going to change our relationship with technology itself, and maybe even with each other? I think that's something we're all about to find out. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.